Hey everybody, and welcome to the Quadcopter review. I'm your host Pepe Prawns. As always, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment if you want to, and subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, help us grow this channel. Up here at the top, you're going to find links to any of the giveaways going on here at the channel, and during the video there might be a link to other videos related to this particular video. As always, don't forget to look in the comments below, first comment pinned to the top, for links to any of the products shown in this video, or look in the description and you can find links there as well. Today is a build I have put together, and it is featuring the TBS Source Micro frame. So this is the TBS Source Micro. From what I've read, it's supposed to be 2.5 inch. However, 2.5 inch props don't work for me. I actually had to go with a little bit smaller of a prop, which I found interesting. But we're not actually going to do the build. We're going to show you everything we used in the build. So some of the things we used in this build is the Eachine Nano VTX. We use those AMAX Inno, or INNO, however you want to pronounce that, AMAX motors. We used the Diatone Mamba mini stack, which I use in all of my builds, and this is the Haddix Turtle V2 with an ND filter on it. So with some of the video playing in the background of the flight, we'll get a little bit more into the details of all these parts. So the AMAX Inno motors are the 1106 4300 kV motors. Light's probably bad where you can't see it. When you get those, they're going to come in a little package just like this one for these 1103s or 5s. 1103s I also bought fully wired, no plug-in for any like Whoop style. It's not going to have the JST on there. Wires are, you know, I don't know, they're alright, but they're not the best wire I've ever seen in my life. So that's the motors we use, and as you can see from the video playing, plenty powerful enough for this model here. And if you want, let's go ahead and reach up here and get our scale. And I was running this on a GMB 3S 5500 milliamp, or 550 milliamp hour battery. So let's get some weight on this for you. Let's see here. Lots of reflections and stuff. You should be able to see this. We were at 97.6 grams without a battery. Again, this is likely, you could go with a smaller battery than this, but with the battery on there, it was at 152, and it ran just fine on these 1106 motors. Plenty powerful enough, not having to over throttle it. Didn't get any heat problems with it. The only heat coming out of this, of course, will be on this little VTX. So let's get the scale out of the way now that you know that. So we have our VTX, which was the Eachine Nano VTX here. As you can see, in the packaging it comes. Here's how small it is. I have a video for you. It's about as big as my thumb. If you look right here, right now, you'll see a link to the video on this VTX itself, and you can check out all the details about this VTX. I've had no problems with this VTX. I've heard some people have. I have not. I thought I had a problem, but in actuality, I did a crappy soldering job, and my ground wire was hanging on about one thread. So during flips and stuff, the video would cut out and just freeze on me, and ended up finding on the bench here that it was just a loose wire, and I fixed that. So next up, let's take a look at the stack. Stack we used was the Mamba Mini MK2 stack, so that was the version 2 stack that was out. Here is it, and if you look here, we have 2 to 4S, and it is 25 amp times 4, so that's 25 per 30 amp bursts, and it is D-shot up to 600. It is 20 by 20, and it's using the STM32 F405 processor in it. And it's the MPU 6000, which most of them are. Flash is 16 meg, and it is Betaflight, obviously compatible. So weight on this guy is 10.5 grams. The old version, so if you're wondering what the V1 was 20 amp. So that's the difference the biggest difference in this, besides the mounting solutions for your soldering. The old one had, we look here, its soldering pads were just flat like this, and there was some pads over here that have been moved. And yeah, so it's small, as you can see. You're gonna have to have some decent soldering skills. If you look up here right now, you can see a link to the version 1, this version, before they increased the power to the ESCs. Phenomenal. I have stacks and stacks of these. The price on these things is ridiculous. It's usually under $40, and you couldn't beat that with a stick for what these are if you had to blow one up. So other people probably have, but you know, somebody always figures out a way to blow these things up. So I have not figured out a way to blow them up yet, and like I said, I have got stacks of these things up here for use. So yeah, give you an idea. That's how it is and how much I love these. So that being said, that's what we used in here. You can't really, you're not going to be able to make out the difference in, maybe right here you see how the soldering pads near the USB actually have the notch out of them, so you can put your wire through the hole, roll it over, and then solder. A lot of people like that way, and the pad goes all the way around, which I think was the difference as well. So that's what we use there. Let's talk Haddix Turtle V2. So yes, this is not new. They've actually already moved on to a V3, but this is the V2 20 by 20, and you can see from the footage, really nice footage. Didn't get much vibration out of this guy in the beginning of the video. You'll see it's much smoother than after, but I crashed and bent these props, and these are beta FPV props, and it's the only set I had that actually fit this quad. So performance could improve a lot, I think, on this by getting props that actually fit. I had ordered a bunch of 2.5s for my collection and to work on this, and like I said, when I put them on, no go, hits the frame, and that means I had nothing otherwise to show you guys. That's the microphone I'm tucking in. Microphone sucks. I don't know if it's necessarily the microphone. I'd be interested how somebody's 5-inch sounds. I haven't put one of these on a 5-inch, but on something small like this, the noise level is so high and it's such a high rev that it's pointless to play sound unless you really bring it down to like 10%. Also inside here we have the XM Plus. That is pretty much my go-to on most of these things. Gets all the distance I need for reception. I haven't found a reason to use much else in the entire time I have been doing this. So excellent receiver there. The Turtle, I have a 64 chip in here, so it'll handle up to a 64 SD card, so it'll handle up to 64 gig SD card, so that's nice, and get plenty of footage on there. With the Turtle V2, just like the Turtle V1, you do not have to shut off the video. If you just pull the power plug, the video does not get wrecked and saves just fine, so another cool thing. If you're going to fly any of these smaller ones like the V2, an Indie filter is totally worth it. This is an 8, totally worth it, and they don't cost much, so definitely something to think about. One mod I had to do was I had to raise the frame here. Again, the lighting, I don't know. I had to raise, put a 5mm riser in here in order to actually fit it in there. Now if you look under here, I've got probably 4mm of space. So I mean, it was just, if they made shorter, or if I used something different down here on the bottom, I wouldn't have need to raise this frame at all. So if you have other ways you want to mount it besides these pins here, yeah, it's late, guys. my life is about this little princess now. So I have to do these videos in the middle of the night. So if I don't remember what the hell a thing that rises your stupid fucking stack up, then that would be why. It'd be 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. So I know what that is, but I can't remember. So yeah, there you go. So if you can get shorter ones, you would be able to put this stack in without any problem inside of this frame by default. So this frame, what's really cool about this frame, and just to backtrack real quick, these are the Beta FPV props, and I think they're 45mm. So your manual for your VTX fully in there. So the thing about the Source Micro is it's like $11. So all the Source frames, Source 1, Source 2, Source Micro, are stupid cheap. Source 1, the 5-inch, is I think you can get it as cheap as $26. I think it normally runs $29. So dirt cheap for a good frame. Everything that's put into these frames is community based, so taking community input on the design of this frame. Matter of fact, this micro version is not version 1, it's like version 0.02 or 0.03, and as you can see, this has a curved part and that's been removed. So they keep taking input and keep improving on the frame. So that is really cool stuff as well. So definitely worth looking into these. You can find them just about anywhere. Get FPV, all your US based ones are selling these. They don't seem to have them on any of your China shops, but you can definitely get them at any one of your US based quadcopter businesses. So that's our build, and the video's been playing the whole time for y'all to give you an idea how well it flies. I am no super acro pilot by any means. I've said that a million times the first time you've seen one of my videos. And if you're going to continue to watch any of my videos, yeah, I like to cruise around a lot more, and I like to see how many flips and stuff I can get into things. However, I do them to make sure that it does perform. One other interesting fact while I was doing this build, guys, with the new release of Betaflight, there is a part in there now for VTX. And you can actually, it's a bit of a time consumer, but if you're going to use something consistently, let's say I believe with all my heart in the ESG Nano, you can, it basically looks like a spreadsheet. You input all the information from your VTX, from your manual usually, of what your channels and frequencies are, and what power levels you have. Like this has PIT 25, 100, 200, and 400 milliwatts in a nano. Put all that information into Betaflight, save it. You can also export it and use it for any other Betaflight setup you're going to do with another one using the same VTX. And you can actually, in Betaflight, you can go ahead and set your VTX in Betaflight. So you can set it to B8 and your power settings right in there while you're in Betaflight, instead of doing it with audio. So with your remote, my god, see, I'm tired, guys. With your radio and smart audio, you can actually do it in Betaflight and save it, and sure enough, when you turn it on, boom, it's going to be on what you set it in Betaflight. So pretty cool. I think we're heading in the direction of like Bluetooth and stuff, where you could just turn on your Bluetooth and change frequencies and stuff like that on that. So that is interesting stuff, I think, in the new Betaflight as well. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the footage, which wasn't that spectacular, and the information on these parts and actually witnessing them in progress and in use, like the motors, the camera, the stack, and everything else. So as always, you can look for the links below to any of these products in there. And yeah, happy flying. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out the Quadcopter review. If you want to see more interesting reviews on FPV related stuff, take a look up here in the old right corner right there. You'll find links to all the rest of my reviews. If you want to get in on some of the best giveaways on YouTube, look over here. Don't forget to subscribe right here on my chin. And if you want to check out my flying only videos separated from the review channel, check that out right here. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to subscribe, and happy flying.